What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Jesse Hughes Show, the first of a test run of 3 days a week. We're going to see how this works. We've got a lot to discuss on the show today, including the Tyler Robinson trial, some important updates there, the Iran war, and of course, our favorite June pastime, remembering and reminding that homosexuals are sexual degenerates in need of the grace of God. We're going to get into all of that in just a moment. But before we do, we got to take a sip of the chair wine. And I've got to remind you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, smash that like button, hit subscribe. If you're watching on X, hit like, hit follow. And no matter where you're watching, make sure you share the show with your friends. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a 5-star review. Do all the things. We love you guys and appreciate you very much. Now, we're going to start off this discussion talking about the fact that it is once again one of the worst times of year, Pride Month. And it seems that a lot of companies have started to kind of lay off a little bit in the past few years. You've seen less and less dramatics about it ever since the whole Bud Light thing happened a few years ago, where conservatives actually successfully organized a boycott for once and got Bud Light to drop a transgender activist from their branding. You've seen a lot of companies kind of calm down on the stuff, calm down on Pride Month, calm down on the things that we all get very annoyed by. And you've seen even like Target. Target used to be this woke liberal store, super liberal. They used to display Pride stuff all the time. And now you look at Target and it's like Pride Month doesn't exist. They're actually celebrating America this year. They've actually got pro-America stuff that they're selling in their stores. And yet there are still some of the usual suspects that are continuing to push this degeneracy. You see major sports leagues, the MLB, the NFL, the month messages. Baseball is for everybody. Football is for everybody. All of this stuff, it's for everybody. No, it's not. Let's be real. There's an audience here. Everything in America has an audience. I have an audience. The MLB has an audience. The NFL has an audience. And for the most part, despite the fact that they continue to try to push this down our throats, the major sports leagues of America, their audience is primarily not gay. It is primarily straight men of various races, mostly white, a lot of black, but primarily straight men. They've tried to get women hooked into this stuff. It hasn't worked. They're trying to get the gays hooked into this stuff. It's not working. But despite that, they still feel the need for some reason to continue to push the Pride Month propaganda down our throats. Now, a handful of teams across the leagues have not done this. Dallas Cowboys in the NFL, the Las Vegas Knights in the NHL. I hate that I have to say something positive about both of those teams, but here we are. And you're going to see various reactions from across the spectrum, most of which have been, we're still doing this, we're really still doing this. You haven't learned your lesson, which is a valid reaction. These companies need to learn their lessons. We're not doing Pride Month anymore. Pride Month is canceled. It's White Boy Summer now. Pride Month is gone. Pride Month is canceled. We're not doing that. We're done with that. And yet you still continue to see the same old usual suspects continuing to push this propaganda. It's getting old. And not only are sports teams doing it, Sesame Street is doing it as well. Now, in unrelated news, I'm sure you guys all remember a few years ago when I believe it was San Francisco Gay Men's Choir came out with a video of them singing a song saying, "We're coming for your children." They just want to be left alone. They just want to be left alone and push their month down our throats and push it on our kids and make our kids sexual deviants. They just want to be left alone, right, guys? They're coming for our kids, and it's never been more blatant than it has been now. You see this with the whole pushback against gay surrogacy and gay adoption. People are disgusted by the fact that two men or two women can buy a child. can strip it from its mother and purchase it. It's modern day trafficking. They don't want to call it that, but that's what modern day trafficking. The same people that are always freaking out calling Donald Trump a pedophile are in favor of modern day human trafficking. And when you look at the numbers, when you look at the statistics, it's very clear there is a large amount of sexual abuse and sexual exploitation in the homosexual community. Very large amount. It is rampant. It is unfortunately very, very common. And it's sad. And you have Sesame Street, a kids program, pushing this stuff. A kids program. It's incredibly sad. It's insane to see. But one good thing about this is Sesame Street used to do this using your tax dollars. The federal government used to fund the propagation of Pride Month all across America. And then Donald Trump came in, Doge came in, and these things have been gotten rid of by the grace of God. It is a very good thing that we no longer have our tax dollars going to fund this propaganda and to push it on our kids. They have to do it on their own dime now. Hopefully, we will get to a place in this country where we force them completely to stop. That day, hopefully, will be soon. I genuinely believe Obergefell will be overturned in my lifetime. They said it couldn't be done with Roe v. Wade, and it was. They're saying it can't be done with Obergefell, but it will. Gay marriage will be in the ash heap of history before I die. I am confident in this. Pride Month will no longer be remembered. Pride Month will no longer be celebrated. In fact, many of the companies that you used to see celebrate it are already starting to tamp down on it. We've talked about this. We're going to continue to see it become a relic of the past until we can finally rid this land of gay marriage once and for all. And there's a ton of great people out there trying to do the work to make that a reality. You've got people like Katie Faust and what she's doing with her new organization. You've got many of the old Christian conservatives who never stopped fighting on this hill. This is a hill worth dying on. Gay marriage is an affront to God's design. It is an affront to the creation order. Marriage has always been and will always be between only one man and one woman. There's nothing that any person can say to change that. There's nothing that any government can say to change that. There's nothing that any court can say to change that. It has always been and will always be only between one man and one woman. Not one man and multiple women. Not two men, not two women. Not a man and a dog. Not a man and a child. One man, one woman for all of eternity. And if you point this stuff out, it's so funny to see how the homosexual community on X reacts when you point this stuff out. In case you didn't see it, I made a few posts that went a little viral today. They got some good numbers, calling out Pride Month for what it is, a degradation. And it's always so funny to see that the people who say being gay is okay, it's okay to be gay, we are tolerant, we're accepting, those same people, the minute that you propose the idea that maybe marriage can't be between a man and a man, all of a sudden they accuse you of being gay. It's hilarious. They accuse me of thinking of things that I've never even thought about in my entire life. In fact, I'm going to share this story. I remember I went to undergrad at Liberty University, a very conservative school. The vast majority of the school was conservative. But even at Liberty, you have a few that slip through the cracks. And I had this class. It was a 400 level history class. It was a senior class. And there was this guy in there who was very flamboyantly homosexual. And the topic for this class was World War I. And this man, this person, gets up there and does a presentation on how World War I propaganda posters were homoerotic. What? He was up there talking about how World War I propaganda posters were homoerotic and was using examples showing literal artillery guns and saying that they were phallic in nature and that you had men fondling these phallic objects. And it was just so weird. These people have a depraved mind. A depraved mind. I would have never, in any of my lifetime, ever looked at a old World War I recruitment poster and thought, that seems a little homoerotic. All that these people can think about is gay sex, and it's disgusting. It's all they can think about. And by nature of it being all they can think about, they try to push it on the rest of us. This is not normal. These are not normal thoughts that you are having. This is not normal behavior. Your mind is so utterly depraved that you are obsessed. You are obsessed. And it's good to call these things out. And it's good to call these people out. And it's good to remind these people of their depravity. But we also have to remember they are still human beings made in the image of God, just like you and I are. And they can still be reached by the same gospel of grace through Jesus Christ that you and I have. So call these people out. Call them out on their behavior. Remember to share the gospel with them as you call them out. And tell them that what they're doing is wrong. It goes against God's design. But through Christ, they can be changed. Their sin can be washed away. They can be washed by the Holy Spirit, and they can be changed. Now, that might not change some of the physical consequences of their behavior and their actions. We all know about AIDS. We all know about HIV. We all know about the issues with incontinence that many of these people have. We all know about these things. Those physical realities might not change, but your status with God can, and your eternal state can. You can be saved and brought into the grace of Christ. So for this Pride Month, remember, preach the gospel boldly. Call these people out on their degradation and sin. And anytime they try to push this on a child, call them what they are. Anyone pushing this stuff on a child is a pedophile. They are a child abuser, and we must not let them forget it. Now we're going to move on. One big topic that we have to talk about. The judge in the Tyler Robinson trial has ruled that the trial may be televised. This is, of course, a huge development and a very good development. Charlie Kirk was murdered in public. His trial should be public as well. The justice that he needs to receive should be public as well. We all need to be able to watch this. With all of the conspiracy theories going on, we all need to be able to see on display the evidence against Tyler Robinson, which I believe is overwhelming. We all need to be able to see that Tyler Robinson is the one who committed this heinous act. And we need to see it live on our TV screens. The defense didn't want this to happen, and the reason is obvious. You would think if they really thought that their client was not guilty, that they would want it to be on TV. They would want the evidence that exonerates him to be available for the entire public to see. But they have a problem. Anytime you see a picture of Robinson from this trial, he's smirking. He's smirking at the fact of what he has done. He has not shown any remorse. He has not shown any signs of being sorry at all. He is completely proud of himself because he is proud of what he did. He knows that he's the one that did it, and he is proud. He wants it to be flaunted on TV for everyone to see. He wants this. He wants the attention. He is a sick and depraved individual. I pray that God reaches him and that he experiences salvation, and I pray for a just and swift execution following a guilty verdict. And we also need to see all of his cronies, all of his Antifa connections, because he definitely had Antifa connections, exposed, and all of these people be held accountable as well. And that needs to be on TV too. That needs to be televised for the world to see too. And I want to give a shout out to Jack Posobiec and Human Events, because they have been doing a tremendous job pushing for this trial to be public. They have done a tremendous job pushing for this, and their efforts have been successful. Thank you, Jack. Thank you to the guys over at Human Events. We all appreciate you very much. Now, before we move on, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor. The Jesse Hughes Show is brought to you by Deus Volt Lapel Pens.com. As you can see, I've got one on now. It's an Appeal to Heaven flag pen. It glows in the dark, which is really cool. It glows in the dark. These guys are awesome. They sponsor the show. Thank you so much to Deus Volt Lapel Pens.com. If you want a cool base lapel pen like this one, go check out their inventory, DeusVoltLapelPens.com. And when you order, use my code ChristFamilyNation26 in all caps. That's Christ Family Nation, all one word, and the numbers 26 for 10% off at checkout. You guys will not regret it. You guys are going to want to go check out these awesome pens. They're amazing. They're beautiful. I love mine so much. I wear them all the time. Go check out DeusVoltLapelPens.com. You will not regret it. Now, there's been some news recently with James Talarico down in Texas. Apparently, weirdly enough, in the middle of Pride Month, he has had to prove that he is not gay. He has trotted out this woman that he is claiming is his girlfriend. And there's some odd things, some odd ends about all of this that kind of don't make sense. Like, for one, she's apparently employed by him. For two, she supposedly likes to have fun by going to gay bars. And thirdly, in what is an inverse of most normal relationships, Talarico calls her his rock and his comfort during this campaign season. It's not usually how a straight relationship is portrayed. Talarico has, of course, gained a lot of criticism over the fact that he is a heretic. He said that God is non-binary. He said that Jesus isn't the only way to heaven, that we weren't supposed to worship Christ. He said that all religions are paths to heaven. And he's trying to portray himself as this good old Christian guy who's just running for Senate in Texas, a moderate Christian guy. Texans, I hope, are smart enough to see through this charade. He is a far-left lunatic and a heretic. He said that we need to protect abortion access for trans communities. Sounds very moderate to me. He said all of these freakish, satanic things and expects Texans to just buy this good old Christian pastor act. His church is not a church. It is a synagogue of Satan. He is not a pastor. He is an agent of the demonic. He needs to be soundly defeated. And I understand there are some people that have concerns about Ken Paxton, about some of his past moral failings, but his personal moral failings, which he has admitted to, are nothing in comparison to the absolute insanity coming out of James Talarico. We cannot let this guy become the next senator from Texas. Luckily, Paxton is a candidate who energizes the Republican base. He is a fighter. He is someone who is going to come out swinging. He is someone who is going to energize the base and bring them out in November. He is someone who gets people excited. This is a guy that Republicans in Texas are going to come out in droves for. And so hopefully he can beat James Talarico in November. We're looking forward to seeing it. I hope it happens. I cannot wait to see all of these people who every year talk about Texas is going to go blue. Texas is going to go blue. It's not going to happen, especially not this year. Now, I want to briefly discuss a situation that is developing across the pond with some of our neighbors over in Europe. Supposedly, Hassan Piker and Cenk Uygur have both been banned from entering the UK. They've had their visas rejected. They're not allowed to enter the country. And it has to do, of course, with their promotion of Hamas and anti-Semitism and their opposition to Israel. And so there's a lot of mixed feelings right now over this issue. There are some who are very Israel critical, who are saying that this is an affront, it's an abomination, it's all because Israel controls everything. There are some who are more of the free speech absolutists who are saying that you shouldn't be punished for something you say online. You shouldn't be denied entry into a country for something you say online. This is an affront to free speech, and this is a travesty. You've got all of these opinions on this issue. Here's the thing. I don't care what the justification was. This is a good thing. Hassan Piker and Cenk Uygur are two examples of people who, I don't care if they were born here or not, they need to be denaturalized and deported. They shouldn't be in this country. In fact, they should be denied entry to every country that they ever try to go to. Hassan apparently likes China a lot. He can go live over there. He can have his fun over there. It'll be good for him. He's a communist. He LARPs as a communist. He'll have fun in communist China. But the Jews and Israel and their control, I don't care. I really don't. It's Hassan Piker, a left-wing extreme radical who wants us all to die. I really don't care. I want to see this guy thrown in jail. I don't want to see him in the United States anymore. Also, countries have a right to deny entry to anyone they want for any reason. I believe it is firmly within the sovereignty of any country on earth to do whatever they want with their immigration laws and to deny entry to anyone that they see fit. Now, of course, the UK has been very stupid with their immigration laws, in my opinion. And the only criticism that I think is valid and worthy in this instance is the fact that the UK is banning Hassan Piker and Cenk Uygur while simultaneously importing the entire third world, including millions of radical Muslims, into their country. They're importing millions of Muslims. The Pakistani rape gangs in London are a real thing and a real threat to the British people. You see that they're fed up with it. You saw a few weeks ago, Tommy Robinson organized this entire protest against the insane laws of the British government when it came to immigration. They're sick of it. And so while I think it's a good thing ultimately that they're not letting Hassan Piker and Cenk Uygur in, it's kind of hypocritical at the same time. The UK has actually finally met two migrants it's not willing to take in. Meanwhile, you've got millions of Muslims replacing your entire country, running ramshot all across the nation, doing whatever they want, and facing no consequences. And if you're someone who tries to call it out, you will face consequences in Britain. You will be arrested. You will be put on trial. Not these people who are raping and killing your countrymen. You. It's absolutely sick and disgusting. And we cannot allow that to happen here. We've allowed Muslim migration into this country in huge numbers. It has to stop. We have to send them all back, and we have to keep a single one of them from ever coming back into this country. We cannot allow a single Muslim, not one more, to come into this country, and we have to get rid of the ones who are already here. It is imperative. It is crucial to our national security and crucial to our sovereignty and crucial to preserving our heritage as Americans. We can't let it happen. We have to stop it. Speaking of Muslims, the final thing I want to talk about briefly, this situation in Iran continues to get more complicated as the days go by. It looked like we were very close to a peace deal. Now all of a sudden it looks like Iran is threatening strikes again. It looks like the United States may have engaged in strikes or at least has threatened them. Trump is going on True Social saying trust me, everything's going to work out just like it always does. It's a very complex situation. You had the president of Iran resign today because of the hardliners in government who are trying to push Iran to continue against the United States and not engage in peace talks. It's a very complex situation. I'm not going to get into the details or the nitty-gritty of it. All I know is two things. One, President Trump has a tremendous track record on foreign policy, and we need to trust it. At the same time, the longer this war goes on, the more unpopular it's going to get with the American people, and the midterms are going to look worse and worse for us. Gas prices hit a high over the past few weeks. It seems like in the area that I'm in, at least, they've kind of gone down a little bit, but they are still pretty high. They're higher than they were a year ago. There's a lot of fatigue over hearing about this constantly. There's people wondering why we're not focusing in more on domestic issues. And to be fair to the Trump administration, they are focusing in on a lot of domestic issues and continuing to deliver promises to the American people in those areas. However, we do have to consider the midterms, and it would be way better for us if we get this thing over with and ended sooner rather than later. You might have seen the clip where President Trump said he's not thinking about the midterms when it comes to Iran. I guarantee you he is. He has to say that. And the reason why is because Iran knows that the longer they drag this out, the more politically unpopular it's going to be at home. And so he has to convince them that he does not care about that. All he cares about is defeating them. And that will force them to the negotiating table. It's a tough sell to the American people, but there's a chance it might work. And given Trump's track record in history, it probably will. We just have to be patient, but continue to monitor the situation. Continue monitoring the situation. Patriots always monitor the situation. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to be live on Wednesday at our usual time. Actually, I might have to adjust it because I'm currently living in Central Time, but we're going to be live on Wednesday. I cannot wait to see you guys there. Have a great, blessed week. God loves you, and so do I. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit like, hit follow, do all of the things. And may God bless you all.